Welcome to another episode of the Money Wheel Podcast. The journey to wealth starts here with your host, Don Shade.
Hello, my friend and future millionaire. Welcome to this episode of the Money Wheel. My name is Kris. So last week, I had a call with Facebook, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about that. We talked about a lot of things with our Facebook account. We were having some issues getting our ads rejected. And we looked through all of our ads, and we noticed that there was one or two particular phrases that were being flagged by Facebook. And the phrase that we were using was something along the lines of make this change within an hour. And what the Facebook representative told me was that making claims like that with specific times in mind within the hour is going to get you flagged every time. The other thing that he said was using specific dollar amounts is also it's a promise that you really can't fulfill. So if you have an ad saying, make $300 in the next 20 minutes, that's going to get flagged. So it's just something that you need to keep in mind when you're writing your copy. Don't make outrageous promises like that. Things that you can't promise every single customer. Now, some ways to kind of try to tweak that is make it about your story. This is how I did this in this amount of time. In that case, you're not making any promises. You're simply showing your example. You could tell a story about this is how I made $2,000 over a weekend or something like that. Now, some of the other things that we talked about on our call were the big changes with the iOS 14 update. And since now people are able to actually opt out of tracking through iOS. And that's actually created kind of a big stir in the marketing community. That's one of the things that we've noticed now with our ads is we're not getting the accurate data that we used to be able to get. So some ways to kind of combat around that is with us, we have an opt-in page. So people are giving us their email addresses for us to join our email list. So now we can actually take that list and upload it to Facebook and create an audience that way instead of using our pixel data that we were using before. So it's just a couple of different workarounds that you can use in order to get that accurate data that you were looking for. Pauses. So that's something else I want to cover in a future podcast is exactly everything that we've been seeing with the iOS 14 update and how it's affecting our business. And I'm going to get together with our ads team and figure out exactly what it is that we're doing so we can pass that information on to you. That's everything I've got for today on the Money Wheel. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Money Wheel Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and like the podcast. For everything that was talked about in today's amazing show, go to moneywheelpodcast.com and get today's show notes, past episodes, and most importantly, you can connect with Don Shade on all his social media platforms. Again, at moneywheelpodcast.com. If you are just looking to email Don, you can email him at don@moneywheelpodcast.com. For a list of all our tools we use in our business, you can go to moneywheelpodcast.com/resources. Again, thank you for listening to today's podcast and see you in our next episode of the Money Wheel Podcast.